Hello everybody, Jerome Wright here, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to bring you some amazing facts about how the Shroud of Turin was created. And for those of you that don't know what the Shroud of Turin is, it's actually the garment that actually is supposedly covered the body of the holiest one, Jesus Christ. Here you have some people that are actually viewing the shroud in state where it's actually being on display. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going forward because I'm gonna try to run this video over 15 minutes and actually see what's happening, and see if I can get it to did it stop? No, don't stop. Okay, we're still recording, right? Yeah, we're still recording. Yeah, we're still recording. Okay, basically, I'm gonna decode how the image was placed onto the shroud, and when I'm done with this, people, you're gonna be amazed. I promise you. Okay, I'm gonna let me go to the next image. These people are viewing the shroud there. Here, there's two guards, and they're actually guarding the shroud again, and again the shroud is on display. The Shroud of Turin is right there in the middle. Okay, there's only one way that this could have actually got on there. This is actually almost like this image was put on the shroud in a way that a photo would be taken or an X-ray would be taken. An X-ray through, I would imagine, we would say through like let's say like a radiation type way, and or I'll keep going because I don't want to spill my guts here, right here in the beginning. I want to climax you into this. This is pretty cool. All right, here's the Shroud of Turin again, laid out flat. People, this is a large garment. Yeah, this is a large garment, and it supposedly had housed the body of Jesus Christ, and there's an image of it that's actually of his body that's on the back side and the front side. What most people don't even know, what's amazing about this shroud, is that not only does it has a face on the front that depicts Jesus, it also has a face on the back, where the back of Jesus' head is supposed to be. It is not a head. It is actually did this shoot past an image? I believe it must have. Go to, oops. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, now this is where I'm wasting time. I'm going to try to go over it anyway. I'm probably going to put a little bit more in writing. Here you have scientists. These scientists, I believe back in 1982 or 86, were given permission to examine the shroud and see what they could come up with, in so much as far as trying to figure out what caused for the image actually to come about being on the shroud. They failed. They could not come up with a scientific explanation as to why that shroud actually pertains an image of a human being. Nobody can say for sure or not that it's Jesus Christ's image, but it bears the likeness of Jesus Christ. And the fact of the matter is that it's a phenomenal thing that has taken place, and it actually bears this image which nobody can explain except until now. And I'm going to actually do it. Oh, my dog is not going to do this in it. Here we are right here, and it's amazing that this is on a lab table, because this is where I'm going to take you at in this image of how this, just being on this lab table, and this, you see that dial right there, the rotating dial, it can actually rotate this image, this cloth, I guess, in different positions and go up, because this is amazing, because this is exactly how that the image I call it a let's call it a radioactive image that is actually inside of that cloth that bears the image of Jesus, is actually how that actually came about being becoming on the cloth. Okay, here's a couple of images of the side by side. These are negatives, okay, of the Shroud of Turin, where people where there's a negative that actually produces a darker likeness of what you actually can see. And actually right here you see the image of Jesus. What most people don't realize, now this is supposed to be the back of the cloth where This is supposedly where you see Jesus's hands, or the likeness bared of Jesus, crossed over here across his, it looked like it's covering his private parts. Here's his chest area, and there's his body. There's a lot of things that I can tell you about this right now that I can see through my paranormal experience and encounter, but I'm going to keep going. But also, what most people don't realize is that too, where Jesus' torso is in here, right in his abdomen area where his hands cross, there's a chin here, there's a mouth, there's a nose, there's an eyebrow, or brow there, eyebrow, and right where Jesus' breast is, there are eye sockets here. There is actually a full head and face right in here. Okay, that, people, is what is happening with it. And in fact, there's the cheekbones right there. See the cheekbone there? There's a cheekbone there, eye socket, eye socket. Jesus's breast area up on top over his breast creates the eyebrows and eye sockets of that other face that you can actually see in there. See it? See that skull-like face in the middle there? But it gets better than that, because I'm going to take you right to where how this was all made. So I'm just playing around with you right now because I'm having fun with this, as you can hear in my voice. Where this is supposed to be the back of the cloth, what was actually etched or burned into the front of the cloth, or copied into the front of the cloth through the source of energy that I'm going to reveal to you in just a moment, it is supposed to have cause for the back of the Jesus likenesses to actually, his backside, to be into the cloth too. So the cloth was kind of sort of like folded over his body, where he would be having the cloth on the front of his part and on the back of his part too. So when the cloth is opened up, it actually shows you both sides, his front and his back side. And through this phenomenon, his image was appeared not just on the front side, but on the back side as well too. But the problem with this is that the back side, which is supposed to be showing him, is not his backside. This is completely something else. In fact, what I see is, I see a shoulder. If you're here with me, I don't know how much is this, or I don't know if you can see. All right, there's a shoulder, and there's a lot of light coming in here too. There's a shoulder, there's a shoulder, there's a shoulder, and there's an arm coming down here, people, and the arm goes back up, crosses over the chest that way, and this arm, the left arm, comes down, there's the elbow, it goes back up, and the arm actually crosses over to its right shoulder. Then the left arm comes down, crosses over, and comes back over and crosses, and the hand rests on the left shoulder. So each hand from each side, there's a hand on each shoulder from the opposite side. There's a crossover. Sort of like when you see a person laying with their hands crossed over on themselves, almost like you see Egyptian mummies, which will bring me to my next point of view here that I have to make. It almost looks like the way an Egyptian pharaoh or Egyptian mummy would be laid to rest, where their hands are not down across like Jesus's has here, but their hands are actually brought up across the chest in crossed over position. And I can actually even draw the arms and elbows here because I can see them right here in this area. But there's also something else though. Here, there is a face right here that is wearing some sort of headrest. But there is a face right here that is depicted. Now I have the face. Here's what the shroud, what the Jesus-like image looks like. And I don't know if you can see that face up in the torso close up. It's all in the resolution. All right, but the chin, in fact, I can see the, where we at. I'm gonna see if I can hold this. I'm going backwards, so it's going to be kind of difficult. I see the chin. I can even see the lip right there, clear. There's an eye socket, eye socket. There's an eyebrow, eyebrow, eyebrow. You see, you can see the lip. I'm gonna see if I can bring that in close enough so you can see the lip. There is the lip right there. Chin, coming on back. And you'll start seeing a face, eye socket, eye socket. But that's not what I want to show you. I'm going to get back to how this shroud was created, because if I run over 15 minutes, I'm going to have to make this video all over again. We're at 9 something. All right. On this side right here, there's another face, which is right here. If you Google the negative, the side by side, and you go in, pan in, you will see that there is a face that is this guy. What? Where we at? Right there. That face appears with blistered lips, reptilian-like lips, blistered lips. There's the chin down there. Here's the nose. If there's features, there's an eye there. There's an eye. And I'm going to bring it in a little closer so you can see. This is the face of the image that is there. It is barely visible. It's a transparent image that is shown. And this is supposed to be the back of Jesus's head, people. And this image is shown. And this is on the other side of the shroud. It creates almost like a reptilian-like being. And where Jesus's hands comes down, or the image of Jesus' hand comes down and cross here, the other image has this hand, this arm right here. I can show you better on this side. You would take this arm of Jesus, this left arm, and turn it up and put his hand up on that shoulder. Then you would take the hand from the right shoulder, turn it up at the elbow, and put it up there. They're crossed over, and that's what is happening here. Let me see if I can come back to this again. It goes down and goes up. This side comes down and then goes up to that side. They cross over each other. In fact, the one that is in top, the left arm and hand, an arm and forearm, is over top of the right arm and forearm. And that's how great this detail is that you can actually see here. So this guy's shoulder, his left and right arm are crossed over his right forearm and shoulder, and going over to the right arm, almost in pharaoh position. Okay, now this is there's more greater detail than this. I still have to tell you how this got on here. There is only one way that this could actually have possibly happened. This guy here and this here, he's looking at me eerily right there. Look at that face. He's looking at me from, if you look at this from the side of your screen, the person is looking at me dead in my face. The person right here in the center, like, why are you telling all of this right here? This guy right here, he's looking at me and saying, why are you telling this? Well, because I'm paranormally linked. That's why I'm telling this. You know what I mean? All right, but anyway, and this guy is looking at you too. So you got three faces looking at you. One there, and one here. But there's more. Let me tell you how this shroud was made. There's only one way that this could have possibly had happened. These are X-rayed images. Even going to the original shroud. Hold on. Don't go yet. Oh, no. Okay, we can't go yet. Okay, we're not going yet. We're not going yet. Good. There's only one way that this happened, people. You know how this happened? Through the assistance of electricity, which creates radioactive charges that produces images, almost in a way that you take an X-ray. That's how this happened. There's a story. In a moment. Oh, by the way, let me tell you this too. This here, I also see, if you notice on the side of Jesus here, almost looks like there was a strap put across here. I can show you each area where you can see that there was a strap. Look like a strap at the legs, look like a strap here, look like a strap there, look like a strap across there, look like a strap across there, but I can see it better on this side here. I can show you right here. It looks like one strap was here. Am I down? I'm down too far. Let me bring it out some. Let me bring it down so I can give you the full image of what's going on. If you look at the negative of the Shroud of Turin, you will be able to see that it appears that there was a strap, there was a table. This appears to be a strap right there. One. This appears to be a strap here. Two. There appears to be a strap that was here. Three. There appears to be a strap that was here. Four. Okay, so I see four possible areas where there could possibly have been a strap or something that was tied around in like a mummy form. Either that or mummy form and then wrapped with a belt around. That's what I saw. And I drawed it out in an original drawing that I actually made. That there was a strapping of this Shroud of Turin some kind of way. All right, now I'm going to go over my 15 minutes. I'm going to still try to do this, and I hope that this video goes. I'm going to take a few more minutes. Hopefully this will go. There's only one scenario. It's my position that Christ, at the time of his death, when he was hanging on the cross, there was talk of, just in the point of him dying, that there was roaring, there was rumbling, and there was this loud thundering noise, consistent with that of something like an earthquake or thundering and lightning, like a great storm. Everybody ran off, left Christ there. It's my position that it was at that point or a point before, and I'm going to try, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do it all in this video. I might have to make another video. I'm going to see. But Christ's body, and it couldn't have happened then if he was at the cross. I think that the stories are twisted, because it's my position that Christ's body, while wrapped in that shroud, if that is Christ or whoever body was wrapped in that shroud was exposed with electrical charges, consistent with a high voltage that is consistent with lightning, and or a high charge that was produced through some type of controlled scenario. There is only one scenario that matches this perfectly to what I described, and it came out in Hollywood in 1931. I'm going to show you something. Here. This here is taken from the movie Frankenstein with Colin Clive in 1931. Notice that this person on the table is wrapped in cloth, and at specific points, look at this. Look how the body is wrapped. Look how the straps go across. Look at this, people. This scenario is identical to that of which we are describing, and we're talking about this Shroud of Turin and Christ. Now I'm going to go into more, because even more comes up with this. I'm going to show you some more pictures that come even closer yet. Look at this. This is from Young Frankenstein. Okay, this is what the one with Young Frankenstein. There's the strap, and look at the table. The table is on an oscillating device, which this can tilt up, turn over, and this all supports any theory of Christ. This can even mimic that of Christ being on the cross. So there, where any of this blood run, which is described on the cloth or in the cloth, can all be simulated through this medical device, this medical table, this doctor's table, this mad doctor's table. Now, it gets deeper than that, because Baron Frankenstein is related to that of, in our eyes and our ideals, Baron of being ancient rooted royalty, associated with a castle. Christ is supposed to have been at some type of royal facility, castle-like structure, prior to, well, actually, he was actually victimized there, tortured there first, before he was set out to the streets to the people to be tortured. So imagine this scenario. We're talking about a Baron of Frankenstein. Now, the assistant of the Frankenstein. Now, this gets good. This is getting good here, people, because the assistant of the Frankenstein, which is Igor, he has the face of a royal jester, which again is an association with royalty, ancient rooted royalty. And the robe that he wears is associated with religion, being that of a monk. I'm suggesting that this Hollywood blockbuster that came out first in 1991 with Colin Clive is the exact scenario that Christ, back in his day, was actually subjected to. I'm suggesting that if you remove all of this, and in fact, look at Frankenstein clothing, it almost bears that of being like old wool, like if it was a Shroud of Turin. But I'm suggesting that this Hollywood skit is based on an actual event that was passed down. They turned it into a Hollywood blockbuster. And the reason why your mind is so attracted to that when it came out is because in all actuality, it is taken from something that really actually happened, but it's actually twisted from the story of Christ. It's my position that Christ, and look, and here you're talking about death and resurrection. That's what this is talking about. Death and resurrection. This man died and he was brought back to life. The same exact scenario of Christ. The same exact scenario. Now, wrap this guy up in a shroud. They send him up to the top of the castle with these electrodes and everything going on, and magnetos and everything. And when the lightning hits, what does lightning produce? Lightning produce an X-rayed image, a scenario where these voltages go down through the body. And it's my position that this is what happened to Christ. And through that scenario, with Christ being electrocuted, and it could have been a form of torture, people, also. Or it could have been a type of, if it wasn't a torture in before of him being wrapped and being tortured like that, it could have been a form of him trying to be brought back to life. Imagine. Because all of that is actually fitting to what happened in the scenario with Frankenstein. Imagine some rich king or queen that had a nutty professor at a witch doctor at their disposal. And this is the scenario which really happened with Christ. Wrapped in the Shroud of Turin, Christ's body was brought to states of high, he was actually subjected to high voltage, and this is what left the photogenic images, X-rayed images of Christ on the Shroud of Turin. And that, people, is supported by the laws of physics, as it is said. Okay, now I'm gonna go on. Lightning has a wonderful power source. Lightning is a wonderful power source. You ever see the cartoons when you were growing up where someone is hit by lightning, their skin disappears and then you can see their skeleton? In a real sense, this is really what happens. If you Google people that's been hit by lightning, the lightning is actually shown. All of these trees, these branches here that's produced by the lightning are actually shown and depicted in people's skin. It's my position that what has happened with Christ is something that occurred possibly where they were either trying to torture this man or try to resurrect this man while that cloth was on his body. And it's my position that through the high voltage that Christ was actually exposed to, it created an X-ray image, which actually in turn created a photogenic image of Christ, which was inside on the shroud. Case closed, people. It's supported, it's factual, it's actual, and it's conceivable. Now, there's something else that I was going on before I was actually stroking myself here, because that's just what I was doing. Did I cover everything? I got a couple notes here. I don't want to go over 30 minutes because I know damn well they ain't going to let me get this in over 30 minutes. Oh, back in the day, you know, I don't know if most of you don't know or do know that ancient rooted royalty and ancient rooted religion used to devise ways to create stage fronts to fool the people, to suggest that there were miracles, so that people would actually give them more money and actually be more supported in their belief of the religion that they were actually being fooled into being in worship with. So the shroud would be that such device to actually say, hey, look at this miracle. This is a miracle here. No one has never seen this or understood what was going on about it until now. Who but I could come along and through my paranormal experience and encounter and expose it all. That Christ's body, either through a natural or unnatural way, was subjected to high voltage, which in turn, that lightning going through the body, it left the X-rayed image of Christ in the shroud, on the inner part of the Shroud of Turin, which actually bled to the outside of the Shroud of Turin. Another thing is that they say that Christ would have had to be in a vertical or invertical way. It doesn't make a difference, because take this scenario, this Hollywood scenario, which I'm telling you is based on the actual event of Christ. This table, with this oscillating table, which can turn upwards, sideways, Christ could even be upside down. This is all supported. Now imagine back in the day that this technology was actually with a king or with a queen, and they actually had Christ in this device, in the Shroud of Turin, covered from head to toe, sent him up to be subjected to high voltage. People said they witnessed Christ, either the ghost of Christ or Christ himself, walking again. Just imagine those that, now just to say that the story is very much twisted, and people that actually seen, let's say this is Christ's mother, Mary, this is Joseph, this is some other people that claim that they witnessed Christ walking again, or he got up from his death. People, we all know that when your body is subjected to electricity, it causes convulsions and jerking, and you get up. It can make a dead person sit straight up. It causes nerves to move. You sit up. This thing about the walking thing, if it's in fact they seen, whether it was a spiritual thing or a reality thing, that people can be brought back to life through electrical voltage. They do it today through the charges, through the electrical pulse charges that they press on your chest. All of these things, these characteristics of what I'm describing here, all fit and describe this perfect scenario of what was played out with this this is the young Frankenstein movie, and with the one that's dealing with Frankenstein, Colin Clive. I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute. So you see, people, and it's not just this about this. There's other things as well too. But you see how this could have happened? This, people, is consistent with an X-rayed image. This guy's eyes here, this guy here, boy, he's something. And then this guy there too. And I didn't draw him out for you, but listen, I have to let this video go. All right, people, it's my position that the Shroud of Turin was created while there was a body wrapped in a cloth, perhaps wet, whatever, went through the blood or whatever, and there was electrodes placed. These little antennae looking, can you see that there? There's little antennae things right up here. Well, I don't know whether you can see it or not. They may be wires right here going off the tops of Christ, look like antennae right there. They could be wires that was placed in, and a high voltage could have been sent in to Christ, and it calls for an image to be taken. This can be the ancient secret to how X-rays were created in the first place, where they were subjecting corpses to high voltage of electricity. This, people, is truly amazing when you consider that it is logical and highly probable that I am 100% correct with this video. And with that, I'm going to end and put more in writing. Thank you. And I hope that YouTube allows for this 30-minute video to go forward.